All eyes are on Pennsylvania right now. When will the vote count be finished?
That's a really good question. And if I could give you the hour, I would. It's hard to estimate or to be precise about that. But I will say this, people have worked very hard to get this count to be completed. It's still ongoing, and there's still some work to do. The last number I saw was, in terms of the mail-in ballots, there's still about 110,000. And then you have provisional ballots that they'll start. Many counties that have them have started processing those. But I think we'll probably have a much better sense of the scope of the margin that Vice President Biden will win the state by. If not, I doubt it would be late tonight, but certainly sometime tomorrow, where you would have a sense of where the margin will be in the unofficial count. That margin will go up, I think, pretty significantly when you continue the count to get the official count for the certification of the election. So I've said that ultimate number, the official number, would be about 100,000 vote margin. I don't think it'll be that high in the next, 2 days or so, or in the next 24 hours. But I think it'll be a margin that will be sufficient, where those who are making determinations about calling in the election would be able to do that, especially as the margin grows.
We're looking at a very detailed county by county map behind you, and I know the folks across the state have been working very hard to do this quickly. I was watching here on the West Coast late into the evening and early morning hours. We were watching the live streams of the workers in your state continuing to count the votes. It sounds like you don't think we will get an sort of unofficial leaning tonight, though. Is that what you're saying, that they're not going to be finished tonight?
That's my sense of it, and a lot of this is not precise. There's not necessarily a metric, even though overall the number of ballots that are left to be counted, or you have numbers that you can attach to it. But in terms of knowing exactly the timing, because sometimes the mail-in ballots can be processed at a certain rate because of the nature of those ballots. But then you sometimes have ballots that have defects or problems. They take longer to examine and to review, and there's a process for that. And then the provisional ballots come after that. And some of those can, there are questions that arise because you might have someone's been approved for a mail-in ballot, but they didn't get one. So they show up to a polling location, say, I want to vote. And they say, okay, well, you can vote by a provisional ballot. Then you have to go back and in a sense, conduct an inquiry to see what ballots get counted. And then you have circumstances where someone seeks a ballot, gets the ballot, returns it through the mail or through a Dropbox or otherwise, and for some reason that ballot was rejected. That can also be a provisional ballot scenario. So they take longer. It's not just a processing of one ballot at a time. There's time attached to that. So it's a difficult process, but the only thing I'm certain about is when the votes are counted, Joe Biden's going to be the official winner of Pennsylvania, and he thereby will win the Electoral College.
Now, the president has mounted legal challenges in several states, including in your state. The Commonwealth Court ruled that in-person and mail-in votes must be segregated. Do you believe that the mail-in votes, or are you concerned that the mail-in votes will somehow be discredited as a result of the pushback?
No, I think the president has acted in the most irresponsible fashion you could imagine in a leader, let alone the leader of the free world. He foreshadowed all of this, his conduct and his behavior and his statements. He foreshadowed this weeks or months ago when he started casting doubt on the mail-in ballot system, even though he votes by mail and everybody around him votes by mail. So he's acting in a manner that I think that not only casts doubt on our election systems all across the nation, thereby insulting Democrats, Republicans, and independents who run these offices, but he's also at the same time undermining democracy, and he's undermining national security. When he conducts himself and makes the statements he made yesterday, I'm not sure there's anyone in this country that benefits from that, but I'm certain that Vladimir Putin and our enemies benefit. So the president should act like a president. He should say very clearly and forthrightly that he respects the will of the people, that he will fully comply with the obligation to have a peaceful transfer of power. And he could also add that he might want to pursue legal action. But of course, if he says that and pursues it, he's got to have proof. And so far, he has no proof. He's got a lot of lies, a lot of statements, a lot of tweets, but it's not going to work out too well because ultimately there's a constitution that will overwhelm him. And he's got to make a choice whether he wants to confront the Constitution or whether he wants to comply with the Constitution.
Some of the allegations have been coming from Rudy Giuliani, who's alleged massive cheating in the state of Pennsylvania. There is concern among some Democrats that a Republican legislature could send rival electors to vote for Trump if Biden ends up winning the statewide vote. How worried are you about that?
Not at all. Because for two things. First of all, the source of those kinds of smears, it's the same old, Trump playbook and everybody around him. It's all fear and smear and demonizing people. They tried that as well to suppress the vote. And that didn't work out so well. We're about to set a national vote turnout record and a state record as well. So the source is not a credible source for those allegations, number one. I'm not even sure allegations is the right word. Lies is the better word. Number two is even Republican legislators in Pennsylvania aren't going in that direction. They put out a statement, I think it was this morning, to that effect. Electors are in place. They will go to the Electoral College. They will vote. And Joe Biden, I believe, based upon what I know about the Pennsylvania vote, and it looks like in some other states as well, but I can't speak with authority on those. He'll get the Electoral College votes that he needs and maybe more than he needs.
Now, that said, the president has made it clear if he does not win this election, he's not going away quietly. And I wonder if you think some of these moves are normal to politics or if this is something graver.
I don't know because he doesn't consult me. But look, the National Republican Party, members of Congress, the National Party, they got a tough decision to make in the next few years if President Trump is out of office. They have to make a decision about whether they continue to genuflect to him or whether they're going to begin to do outreach to the groups in our country that are growing and that are going to have a lot more power than they do now. Young people, women, communities of color, people that these Republican elected officials are going to need to win their states, like suburban voters. And if they continue to genuflect to Donald Trump for the next few years, they're going to have real trouble on many election days.
Now, as the votes continue to be counted, what do you think was the resounding message that resonated with Pennsylvania voters?
I've spent a little just leafing through the exit polls, and they can be, I think, informative in this kind of determination about what an election was about. But I think overall, generally, and you saw it in the polling, and you saw it in the way the campaign transpired, they were looking for leadership. If you had to boil it down to one word, leadership on the virus. They want a president who will take substantial steps to tackle the virus, maybe even to, at some point, try to control it with all the mitigation steps that we should be doing and President Trump should have led us in the direction of. And then secondly, they want They want an economic strategy, a jobs strategy, or I should say a jobs creation strategy to get us out of the ditch we're in. We're in a deeper economic ditch right now than we were in 2008, 9, and 10. And I think Joe Biden not only demonstrated that he has the experience, but also the plans to tackle both.